he teaches, it's not just about sharing the formula with you. It's about making sure that we learn.
I went from $100,000 in debt from law school to having no money and starting my own law firm on my credit card to selling it 4 years later.
Sean and I, we co-created massive victories in 2 unwinnable jury trials, which are recognized nationally now as top 100 jury verdicts.
To be even on the same track with you, who I respect and admire and love with all my heart.
Never again submit. You're not better and you're not less than any human on earth.
When you shared with us about the unblinded process and the mastery sales training, I just went, wow.
Sean will gain proximity to the most influential and powerful people. He will find out how he can grow their business, how he can help them personally. But the third thing that he does is the most important. Sean serves without an expectation of getting anything in return.
You have very, very high-performing colleagues.
22 years ago, you transformed my life as you did all these people's lives over the course of time. I couldn't be more grateful. Let's hear it for Tony Robbins.
I don't see him as a lawyer, and I don't see him as a blind person. Someone who has subjugated his ego, who has taught me what serving really looks like.
You have this incredible ability to just have unconditional love for everyone, and that is just an incredible gift.
The moment you have been waiting for.
The American Blind Association is the first new face and voice of that association since Helen Keller.
Formula for formulas, which is exactly what I've learned from Sean. It's a language-based predictable model. We will have over 300 new sales meetings this month.
This superpower in the world that is attainable for you is the ability to influence people. If you believe that, say yes. If you believe that, say yes.
Do you think that worked?
Can you guys hear Sean, or is it me?
I can't hear him.
Yeah, Sean, we cannot hear you. You're not muted, so you may want to call in. We can, but you're not muted. Yes. So I think he's saying Migo and hello. Introducing everyone, and then we'll get this show no sound go ahead. Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Can you guys? Okay, perfect. And oh, this is fun. This is so fun, Dr. Jude, that this is your first show and we're having technical issues because I just lost my bios. This is so hysterical. I know, Chad, I am trying to go. I don't have the bios in front of me. My bios just disappeared. So I'm trying to. That is so fun because they were just up here and now they're completely gone. So in all the shows, this has never happened. And this is really super fun because this is Dr. J's first show. And all right, here we go. They're back up. Awesome. And let's start with Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, a psychologist for 2 years at a private practice working with higher income individuals and families, providing therapies to teenagers and adults, became very aware of emotions at a young age and very interested in the dynamics of human development and distinctions. Building her own practice, wants to contract for forensic departments or criminal profiles for criminal minds, looking to speak for organizations and associates as well. Let's welcome to the show, Dr. Morgan Thomas.
Thank you so much.
Would you like to be referred to as Dr. Morgan or Dr. Thomas? Because the other fascinating thing, Dr. Morgan or Dr. Thomas, is that I'm unable to turn the volume down on my computer, so I can't be on camera and on audio at the same time. This is fascinating for the tech team. But would you like to be referred to as Dr. Thomas or Dr. Morgan?
Dr. Morgan is perfect. That's what my clients call me, so we'll go with that.
All right, Dr. Morgan, thank you so much. And Dr. Morgan, what we're looking for is a fun fact to kick this thing off, because Plato, the Greek philosopher, said, play a game with me for an hour and we're going to learn more about each other than if we speak for a year. And we've had, about 6,000 people on the show at this point. And we have a little fun of like hierarchy of fun facts. It's not a story, it's a headline. Could be a proud moment, an adventurous moment, a little shocking, surprising moment that will make us say, Dr. Morgan, no way. So please, what is your fun fact?
Sure. Okay, so a fun fact about me that most people don't know is that I am a black belt in Taekwondo.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What?
Outstanding. That is absolutely outstanding. And when did you become a black belt in Taekwondo?
I think I was around 11 or 12, but it's like riding a bike. You don't forget any of this stuff.
That's absolutely awesome. We love it. We got black belts in the house, Bella Verita, who is joining the extraordinary black belt master and doctor. Come on, Bella.
We got black belt masters in the house. Thank you. Welcome, Dr. Morgan. And joining Dr. Morgan from West Palm Beach, Florida, graduate from the University of West Indies in Jamaica in 2010, and then moved to the U.S. in 2012 to join her husband. Mentored by her father, a medical professional in Jamaica, followed his footsteps and pursued a career in family medicine to support her family, a hospitalist at St. Mary's Medical Center for 5 years, now the medical director for Monarch Health Services, a nonprofit full-service primary care providing services to West Palm Beach. Let's welcome to the show, Tiffany Jarrett.
Tiffany, welcome to Dr. Jude's Heart of Influence. And please, Tiffany, what's your fun fact?
Okay, so I'm trained physician, but I also like to be the life of the party. So sometime last year, I opened a photo booth company with my best friend and my sister. So we do a 360 machines, we do the photo booth, we have a lot of fun. So yeah.
That's awesome. Photo booths galore. And by the way, Tiffany, don't tell anybody this, but Bella Verita never met a camera or a photo booth that she didn't like. But don't tell her I said
that. You'd love it.
Yes.
That is
Bella.
very
Bella.
true.
Yes. Let's rock and roll, Bella. We got photo booths to take pictures of you. Let's go.
And lead programmer at Sativa Science Data Collection in the medical cannabis space, doing consultant web development for 15 years, previously handling electronic medical records and programming for the research of the University of Michigan. Let's welcome to the show, Mark Swanson.
Mark, long time no talk. Welcome to the party. Yeah, and please, what's your fun fact, Mark?
Fun fact about me, even though I'm a white guy, I speak Japanese, and I have a 2-year-old daughter who I've only been speaking Japanese to since she was born. And it's really wild to watch her like slowly pick it up in this like magical way that children pick up language. That's been really interesting.
That is absolutely true. So your daughter only speaks Japanese?
No, my partner doesn't speak Japanese, so I only speak Japanese to my daughter, but she mostly speaks English to other people. Yeah.
Oh, got it. Understood.
Yeah.
So she's getting both English and Japanese. That is super cool. Well, congratulations on that. And Mark, are you ready to have a little bit of fun on Dr. Jude's Heart of Influence today?
Absolutely. And thank you so much for having me, Dr. Jude. Yeah.
Awesome. Bella Verita. I don't have anything Japanese, but I was going to try to. Let's go. Karate. Let's go.
Karate, let's go. Next up, you may know this man from Miami, Florida. Excellent academically with a 4.0 GPA, 1,400 SAT score. Athletically, the captain of this football team, all while playing the jazz sax and classic piano. Division I football while earning a dual engineering degree, graduating with $60,000 in debt despite a full scholarship. 20 years tutoring thousands of students with a 93% success rate, turning $20,000 in credit card debt into a $1 million business, started a foundation that now has impacted 800 plus students, giving more than $500,000 in scholarships and programming. Let's welcome to the show, Mr. AJ Donaldson.
Impact heart-centered warrior, AJ. Hello, hello. Happy Why Wednesday. And brother, please lay a fun fact on us.
Love you, brother. Appreciate this opportunity. Dr. Jude, big shout out to him. Bella, you are crushing it despite obviously technical issues. You got it done. I think fun fact for today, on top of everything else that we've got going on with the Epic Foundation, is we're talking about influence. I actually have a co-host or guest right here. I'm currently influencing my son as he's doing his homework.
No.
Nice.
So that is my fun fact for today. And another 250 kids impacted last week. We are skyrocketing exponentiality, and that is all due to the formula, Sean Callagy and Unblinded. Love you, people. Appreciate it.
Yeah, love you, brother, and you, of course. Your leadership. We're just kind little facilitators, and you're the man. And so happy to see that your son is crushing with his homework, because you are an absolutely masterful and extraordinary father, AJ Donaldson. I love and appreciate you, brother. Bella Verita. AJ brings home the bacon and fries it up in a pan. Let's go.
Bringing him that bacon, and right next to him doing the same thing, making impact in the world from West Palm Beach, Florida. First generation Haitian American, completed his pre-internship program aligned with his medical school in New York, attained a medical degree in Mexico, completed 4 years of residency training, and is now certified in internal medicine, recognized as a diplomat of the American Board for Internal Medicine, eager to help improve the healthcare and community and change the ideology that doctors are needed only when something is wrong. Let's welcome to the show, Dr. Jude Alok.
Thank you.
Doc, welcome. And please, a fun fact.
So fun fact, I'll something that you guys may have heard, but not the new people here, that I met Michael Jackson in the mall one day, randomly walking through the mall, met Michael Jackson, shook his hand, and his hand was kind of rough.
Ooh,
Interesting. Michael Jackson has rough hands. Well, Doc, we appreciate you. You are just a person of the highest level of heart, impact, integrity, making things happen. It's great to get this thing rolling. Bella Verita, can we do the things?
Let's do the things. I will introduce
Before you do
my
that, though-
co-host, the man.
No, I'm introducing my co-host. This woman started selling crafts on her front lawn as an 8-year-old to begin her journey of influence. She progressed to being a 7-figure earner in the space of network marketing by the age of 19. That's not easy to do. Then at 24 years old, she began a run three-peating, like Michael Jordan. But she was three-peating not in basketball, but as the #1 business broker in the state of Nevada. #1. She was the first woman ever to be the #1 business broker, let alone do it 3 times in a row. And at 24 years old, she was the youngest person. She was the first woman ever to do. She was the youngest person ever to be #1 business broker, whether male or female. She began to train Fortune 500 companies and entrepreneurs in leadership, influence, impact, and all sorts of extraordinary things to build more success. And in fact, she was so extraordinary in her training, consulting, coaching, that every sales team she worked with in 2019, and I mean every, doubled their sales. She's a skier, surfer, scuba diver, adventurer in the most extreme of conditions, and a philanthropist raising millions of dollars to be behind the team and published author. But in 2023, perhaps her greatest accomplishment was her courageous, public, vulnerable journey through cancer, which she not only defeated, but thrived in the process. Let's welcome to her more than 800th episode of The Heart of Influence, the woman that put the heart in the title, the one, the only, Bella Verita. Bella, welcome to your show and your fun fact, please.
Yes, I think my fun fact is the pain that I am currently in was more painful than having cancer at the current moment. And even clapping extends excruciating pain, and I want to cry, but I'm not going to because it's Dr. Jude's Heart of Influence. But I think that is a very fun fact. The fact that the pain that is in my back right now is probably the worst pain that I've ever experienced. So that's my fun fact for today, Sean Callaghy.
No, Bella, I know you told me that you're in pain. I didn't realize it was that level. Oh my God, you are a warrior. And I said to Bella, like, should we go through with this? She's like, Dr. Jude, no way we're canceling. So I just want to share that. And you are a warrior, Bella. So let's do the things.
Let's do the things. And I will introduce my co-host, the man that Tony Robbins said, there's no one who leads with more heart and more integrity than Sean Callaghy. He beats world champions like Becky at body surfing competitions, and he is only one of 2 attorneys to win 2 top 100 national jury verdicts between 2014 and 2016, and the only one that was blind out of 1.2 million attorneys. And in fact, the state of New Jersey thought he was so cool that they actually named him one of New Jersey's most influential attorneys. He has spoken on stages such as Disney, T-Mobile, Salesforce, Tony Robbins 18 times. And when he's not doing cool things on stage with epic people like Tony Robbins, he's an incredible philanthropist that in the last 2 years raised nearly dollars for philanthropic partnerships through sustainable giving. Let's welcome to the show, Mr. Sean Callaghy.
Bella, thank you. Dr. Jude, thank you. Everybody, thank you for being here today. It's an honor, a privilege, and again, happy White Wednesday. And my fun fact for today, I often go with the fact that I'm a blind man that has taught sighted people to ski, surf, and scuba dive. And in fact, I was surfing this morning at sunrise in New Jersey in 57, 58-degree water, which will wake you up at 5:30 in the morning. But I'm going to go with this for today. I had the privilege of building a 40-person law firm because the work that we have here, within 2 years of graduating from law school, and employees, not contractors. And then I sold that law firm. A couple of years later, I started a second one and took it from 0 to 100 people within 2 years and have more than 125 folks that are working in that firm today. And that's my fun fact, Bella.
That is a super fun fact and quite an achievement. And are you ready to do the things today, Sean?
I am ready to do the things. Bella, your audio, it's either me or it's your audio. Seems like it's cutting out just a hair here and there. So just let you know that. And yes, who is going first?
Yes, Danny told me I have no idea what's going on. It has just been one of those fun days, but I'm not sure what to do. But what are we doing here? And who are we getting? Yeah, what are we doing here?
We're exploring that superpower of influence. We're going from hello to yes with Bella, and who's going first?
Let's go, Dr. Morgan.
Dr. Morgan, Bella's going to be anybody you want her to be. This is not about pitching, hooking, closing. Yuck. What does it look like when heart-centered, sophisticated people come together and a yes is relevant and necessary? Because yes causes everything, right? So Bella could be an ideal patient or ideal client. She could be an ideal philanthropic fundraising partner. She could be somebody famous like Oprah Winfrey or Warren Buffett, whomever would make sense for you, Dr. Morgan, to create a yes with. And it doesn't have to be a sale. It doesn't have to be the ultimate yes. It could just be a yes for a longer conversation. So Dr. Morgan, please, who would you like Bella Verita to be?
Who would I like her to pick?
Who would you like her to be?
Oh.
She could be a patient, a client, yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, Oprah's not a bad idea.
All right. Dr. Morgan, Bella's Oprah, and you're going from hello to yes. Bella, you're Oprah. Take us in.
Hello, this is Oprah.
Hi, Oprah. So nice to meet you. How's it going?
Nice to meet you as well. It's going pretty good.
What brings you in today? Why are you here to see me?
Well, you called me, and well, this was a call on my calendar. Somehow the team put it in, and so I wasn't sure, but I wanted to definitely take the call and see, what it was that you were doing.
Well, you know, Oprah, I've been watching you for several years and you actually did speak at my graduation commencement. And I wondered if we would ever get the opportunity to speak again. So now that I have you on the line, you know, I just, you know, if I could pick your brain a little bit, if I could get some type of advice of how I could maybe work my profession into maybe getting on TV one day, I think that would be a huge goal of mine and something really cool to do. What could I do to maybe get on air and share my expertise a little bit more?
Well, first of all, you know, congratulations on graduating. And let me ask you this real quick. What do you remember most from that speech?
What I remember most was actually you telling us, the crowd, and mind you, this was 12 years ago. So a lot of it, you know, we did a lot of partying the night before Oprah, but I do remember you telling us that in life, there are going to be a lot of people who are not going to like our success and not be okay with it. And for us to be okay with it and to kind of expect that. And that couldn't be, you know, anything closer than the truth. A lot of times you just kind of have to accept and take people for what they are, where they are. So I thought that was really good advice, because that applies not only professionally and personally, but personally when it comes to family and friends. Everyone's not always down to ride with you to the top. Some people want to see you stay where you are. So that's what stuck out to me most from your speech.
Well, I am happy to hear that that's what you took away, because I will give you this final advice, Dr. Morgan, is the truth is the more you rise, the more people will want to take you down, the more they will talk about you, the more they'll make up stories about you, and the more that, you know, the enemy, however you take that, you know, with people, they'll want to take you down. And what you want to remember is what your path is. And if you've been called to be on television, then never give that up. It may not happen tomorrow. It may not happen this year. It may not happen this decade, but that doesn't mean you ever give up on the dream. Keep pursuing it. Keep talking to people. Keep sharing your dream with people, because you never know who that person can introduce you to that could be that next step to your television show.
Absolutely. Thank you. I love that advice. This decade or the next, hopefully I'll be prepared when the opportunity presents itself.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Morgan, it was a pleasure to speak with you. And who knows, maybe we'll get to have you on our show someday.
Who knows? I would love it.
Awesome. Have a great day.
Thanks.
Dr. Morgan, great job, great congruence, great presence. We'll get to the feedbackers in a moment, Dr. Morgan. But Bella, who's following Dr. Morgan?
Following Dr. Morgan is Miss Tiffany.
Tiffany.
Oh man, I'm so bad at this.
Who
What
would
am I
you
going to
like?
choose?
Yeah, Bella could be like a huge party. She might be having a huge function and need like photo booth company. She could be anything that would make it make sense for you to be generating a yes, Tiffany. So who would you like Bella to be?
Who would I like you to be? Oh man, I'm like stuck. Let's see. Let's do Viola Davis.
I'm sorry?
What was it?
Viola Davis?
Yeah, she's a Black actor. No? Okay.
That's great.
Viola Davis. Yeah.
I know the name.
All right. So you're a famous actor, Bella, and Tiffany. What is the yes that you'd be seeking from Viola Davis?
You know, how she has influenced the Black community in her art, and you know, how to be as present as she is, and make people recognize you.
Cool, awesome, Bella. You're Viola Davis. Take us in.
All right. Hello, this is Viola.
Hi, Viola. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How about yourself?
I'm good. So let me know, how do you make yourself so present? How do you present yourself on stage where people are just drawn to you? You know, we love your movies. You know, you inspire people to look at you, watch your movies. You know.
Yeah. I would say, Tiffany, the first thing is I love what I do. I feel like I was born to do this. And, God gave me a talent, and if I was wasting that talent, I feel like I, wouldn't be doing my duty here on earth. And I would say every role I step into is I really take on that persona. I want to understand who that person is, understand, what they've been through, and step into that with the most amount of empathy that I can, and to truly love the process and love the people in the process. And I think, the more that we can see good around us, the more impact that we can have, and the more that we can rise in what it is that we do. And I think, you said about like attracting, and I think the more love that we exude, the more we attract people to us. And that's what I try to do my best of.
Okay.
Anything that I can help you with?
No.
Well, it has been
Tiffany,
an honor
excellent job.
and a privilege to get to speak with you today. And I hope something that we spoke about inspires you in your journey. I know that you started a new business with your family and your friends. And, as long as in that you are exuding love in what it is that you're doing, which I have the feeling that you are, you shall prosper and grow into great things. So I wish you the best.
Thank you.
Yes.
Awesome job, Tiffany. Bella Rita, let's get Tiffany and Dr. Morgan a little bit of feedback.
Let's do it. So judges, otherwise known as feedbackers, this is the time in the show that we get to give back in the form of feedback. And so it's going to be 30 seconds of feedback for Dr. Morgan and Tiffany, something that they did great, something that they could do to improve, and then a little scoring system. A is you'd rather go to the dentist and have a root canal than have to have a longer conversation with Dr. Morgan or Tiffany. Hopefully no one's needing a root canal today. B is you would invite them to Starbucks and enjoy a cup of coffee and a longer conversation. C is you would invite them to Capitol Grill for like a 4-hour dinner, seafood tower, nice juicy steak, unless you're vegan, of course, you're having salad and truffle fries perhaps. And then D is you would rent a private jet and fly anywhere in the world with Dr. Morgan or Tiffany just to have a little bit longer of a conversation. So Mark, let's kick this off with you. And how about your 30 seconds of feedback for Dr. Morgan first?
Yeah, okay, Dr. Morgan. I loved the way that you kind of incorporated like a personal experience to Oprah, who you're talking to, and it wasn't just a generic and hello and what can you do for me, but it was a this is how you've affected me in your life previously, and clearly there you weren't just calling any random person. There was a reason you were calling this specific person, and I think that really helps to engage people. I think that's wonderful. Something that I think could have been more one feedback would be perhaps a little more specific ask or intention in terms of what do you want after this conversation? Like what are we going to do next together? What is it that I'm looking for you as a person? I wasn't as clear on that as I think it could have been, but I would say the ranking system, which A, B, C, D, in a different order than I would normally expect you to have said that. But I'd go for a B or a C. I definitely would want to talk to you again. Absolutely. So thank you.
Yeah, little mocha chocolate latte and a steak. That's what I'm hearing, Bella. Come on.
The mocha chocolate latte and a steak. That's what I'm hearing. And Mark, how about your 30 seconds of feedback for Tiffany?
Oh, yes. For Tiffany, I suppose I wasn't ready for a second feedback. Maybe some of it is very similar. I again like the way that you initially engaged somebody of meaning to you. You seem to have an interest in this particular person. I also don't know the name, so I can't speak to the specifics of that. And you asked like a specific question, a personal question. It wasn't a generic question. You asked her specifically something about, why is she doing what she's doing? Something that's meaningful to her as an individual, as opposed to just some nonsense small talk. I think that was a really great way to engage an individual. And again, I think I wasn't as clear as like, what did you want next to happen with your relationship and that sort
And
of thing.
so what would be your score for Tiffany? We having a mocha chocolate, we having steak, we getting on a private jet.
Yeah, I'm not a big steak person, but I'd go to a coffee shop and ask, want to know a little bit more about what's going on. So
fantastic. Little
Outstanding.
mocha chocolate it is.
Mocha chocolate.
Yeah,
I don't know
let's
what that
go.
is.
Thank you,
Sounds
Mark.
good.
It's one of those fancy drinks they have at Starbucks. We make it up. I don't even know. I don't drink at Starbucks, but it sounds like something Starbucks would have. Bella,
Yes.
let's go.
Let's do it. Next up, AJ Donaldson. How about we start with your 30 seconds of feedback for Tiffany?
All right. No, I appreciate that. So first and foremost, ladies, shout out to you both. It is not easy to be on a hot spot like that as a participant on a show. And for both of you to pick such dynamic, successful women in the world, incredible. Like Viola Davis, Oprah, holy cow. A lot of pressure to even be on the phone with somebody who's so aspirational. I think the dynamics, Tiffany, being able to engage with somebody who may be even a hero of yours, the acknowledgement and was totally there, like 10 out of 10 was incredible. And just being clear on what could you potentially gain in that conversation, because the biggest thing is that you're a business owner. And as much as we didn't necessarily go to school, either you're a psychologist or running a party planning business, we kind of forget sometimes that there's business to be had. And so we need more input regarding whatever your ask may be towards your money, your time, and the impact you're looking to make. So I was going to give her, because of the order, I almost forgot that, thank you. Because of the order, we were going backwards. So like a B- is actually a good thing, I think. Is that what it is? B-?
Yes, I am dyslexic, so I do things a little backwards.
Right. So I'm going to go to B-. There you go.
B-. Awesome. So I'm hearing a little mocha chocolate, maybe a little iced tea or something.
You can put a shot of Appleton rum in it as well. So
there you go. Awesome. And AJ, how about your 30 seconds of feedback for Dr. Morgan?
Absolutely. And you do that because, again, the dynamics of speaking to a hero and someone who made such an impact in your life at the young age of 12 years ago, the dynamics of that is now being in front of your hero to have a conversation. Already extremely intrigued with what you do in the world for these young people. Obviously, I have my son here and all the kids that we work with. So that was already intriguing for me. So I'm a little biased. But at the same time, same concept. It's like you run a business. So as much as you are passionate about this particular work that you do, there's also that business model that says, okay, why would I be on the phone with Oprah? What value can I provide Oprah that can potentially turn into that reciprocity of what I'm looking to gain? So in this case, I will give a C+. See what I did there? Y'all see what I did there? B-.
Yeah. So like the Capital Grill steak. Now, Dr. Morgan, if you're headed to Capital Grill with AJ, what are you ordering?
I'm definitely ordering a filet, about medium.
So the C is the filet, but the plus means no lobster tail. It's not a salad.
Well, no, the plus means some dessert too.
No, but you went backwards.
They got an
Plus means
excellent creme
minus in
brulee
this
at
case.
Capital Grill.
And they have good salads as well.
Plus is minus in this case. You reverse everything.
Thank you.
And AJ, let's go your 30 seconds of feedback for Tiffany.
I gave 30 seconds of feedback,
Oh.
but I will say this. I'm not surprised that Tiffany has a side business because we're Jamaican and we can't help ourselves. So we have tree job. If you don't have tree job, you're lazy. All right.
Correct.
That is funny. Anything to add, Sean? Did we lose Sean?
I say let's rock on and let's take private jets to Jamaica and go scuba diving in James Bond locations, and let's get to Dr. Jude.
Dr. Jude, how about your 30 seconds of feedback for Dr. Morgan?
Yeah, so first, just like AJ said, awesome job. I've actually never been in that seat, so it can get pretty crazy. I was thinking for myself if someone's asking me, and I was like, I don't know. So good job on picking someone in a pretty good amount of time. And your picks are awesome. So for Dr. Morgan, I would say it was cool, kind of how like looking up to somebody, like your face kind of glowed, and though Bella does resemble Oprah 100%, you still had like, you really kind of were there in the moment in your heart and had that excitement. And I like the casual energy, the fun energy that you had, just kind of, speaking to her as an equal. And that's something that we kind of share throughout this process, is like no one's better, no one's worse. Or you're not better, you're not worse. And so that energy was apparent.
And so, Dr. Jude, are we taking Dr. Morgan to like Starbucks? Are we taking her to Capitol Grill? Or are we getting on a private jet?
We'll go to Starbucks next door to a Capitol Grill.
Starbucks next door to a Capitol Grill.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. And Dr. Jude, how about your 30 seconds of feedback for Tiffany?
Okay, for Tiffany, same. I got the same sense of like her question was formulated really because she really wanted to know like who you are, Viola, and how did you become that, and how did you stay there, and how do you approach your day to day. And so I got the idea of that's something that she's trying to emulate in her day to day, of how to stand up or live up to a certain persona. And so that was really cool. She was also a little starstruck, so a little shy, and maybe just like shocked from the experience, because you kind of get put on the spot. But I would say definitely Starbucks. Maybe she can get a Danish on the side too.
A Danish on the side. That is awesome. And so shall we do the thing, Sean? I don't know I think he's having more technical issues. Dr. Jude, you gave feedback to Dr. Morgan and Tiffany, correct?
Correct.
All right. So hopefully Sean's going to come back in just a moment. But Dr. Jude, since this is your
I've been here the
first show,
whole time. I'm back on camera. I am ready to go.
Okay, we cannot see you yet, but this is the time in the this is the time in the show that I have the honor and privilege of putting my co-host on the hot seat in a scenario that he has no idea about, because they always make them up as the show has been going on. And Dr. Jude, ultimately, you get to choose what scenario that we go with today. You can choose anything you want in the scenarios. You can change anything, or you can scrap them all together and come up with something on your own. Are you ready to hear what I have for today?
Yeah, bring it.
All right. So I thought option number one is Sean could role play Dr. Morgan going from hello to yes with a teenager who thinks they are perfectly fine. They don't need any therapy. It's their parents' fault. It's their parents' issue, but they really have some distraught issues. And so Sean would go from hello to yes with that teenager to start seeing her as a therapist. So that is option number one. Option number two is that Sean would go from hello to yes with Oprah to ask for a $100,000 donation for Epic Foundation. So that is option number two. And then option number three is Sean would role play Tiffany going from hello to yes with a mom to hire her in her photo booth for her child Sweet 16 party. So those are the three options that I have for you today. Any of those tickle your fancy, or would you like to come up with something on your own?
Man, that's tough. All three of those are good. And I was even thinking that Sean could be Dr. Morgan talking to Dr. Phil to take over and be a guest star in the show, and maybe even co-star the show.
I like that, Dr. Jude. And Dr. Jude, who do you want to play? Shall we have Mark play the role of Dr. Phil?
Yeah, Mark's Dr. Phil, Sean is Dr. Morgan, and she's trying to be a co-host on the show. And he's probably a little nervous that she might take over.
Yeah, well, I've actually never seen Dr. Phil, but I will do
I'd
my
rather
best.
just take over the show, just to add my 2 cents.
I'd rather just get over it.
All right, take us in.
Understood. So is it taking over the show? I'm not sure. That would be a very, very interesting conversation with
Yeah,
Dr.
that'd be a
Phil.
little hostile, but no, co-hosting.
Okay. All right. So, hi, is Dr. Phil available?
Yeah, hello, this is Dr. Phil.
Hey, Dr. Phil. This is Dr. Morgan. We had a 3-minute conversation scheduled for today. Is still a good time for you?
Yes, that's right. Yeah, today's good. Okay.
Yeah, awesome. I'm really, really grateful for this. Obviously, this is an interesting conversation to be having. And if I may ask you, I'm super grateful that you've accepted
but what prompted you to accept this conversation?
I don't know, you were compelling when I first met you. Seemed like you have some interesting things going on, and but honestly, I'm not sure that I'm really looking for a co-host right now. I think you mentioned something about that, but I thought I have 3 minutes. I'm backstage about to go on, but no, go ahead.
Yeah, awesome. And so if I can ask, I mean, Dr. Phil, and I will keep it to that. I know we have about 2 minutes to go. What I have seen so many of your shows, so maybe all of them. I've heard you speak, I've seen your videos, I've read your books. And my understanding is that your mission is to reach as many humans as possible to lessen suffering and create the highest level of mental health and well-being imaginable. Am I hearing all that correctly, Dr. Phil?
Yeah, that's true. I'd like to reach a lot of people and help them if I can.
Okay. And so is it that you want to reach more people? I want to make sure I'm tracking.
What do I want now? I mean, things are going pretty well. I'm reaching a lot of people. Honestly, I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, I can always have a bigger audience, you know?
Yeah. So, well, thank you for that, Dr. Phil. And so would it be okay then if I would share a couple things that may or may not resonate with you in our final minute or so here together?
Sure, of course.
So, Dr. Phil, thank you for all the work you've done, for all the impact you've created, and it has been extraordinary. What I am very simply proposing is to have a longer conversation because I am hopeful that in this beautiful space of growth, acceleration, diversity, equity, inclusion, belonging, which I know clearly that you're a champion of, that we could just explore in a conversation the possibility of co-hosting. I've worked with some focus groups, and the reviews that I've received in the focus groups, and these are blind focus groups, meaning I didn't pay them to come to a conclusion, have shown an extraordinary amount of receptivity in certain demographics where your ratings are certainly positive, but could be even more positive and strong. So very simply, I want to add value. I'm not asking for a favor. I'm not looking to take anything. But I think after we review these numbers and have a conversation about them, there could be the possibility of a conversation of a small beta test. You know, Regis Philbin was incredible. But when Regis was working with Kathy Lee Gifford and, of course, other subsequent co-hosts, it became an iconically powerful show. And you already have that. But as you said, there's always another level, and there's still an extraordinary audience out there, and especially with network television, you know, sort of collapsing and, you know, the expansion of possibility present. All I'm seeking, Dr. Phil, is a 30-minute conversation, not for me. Certainly I would benefit, but to co-create value together. So Dr. Phil, how would it resonate with you or not to have that 30-minute conversation?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you just remind me too? I hear you totally on the demographics and reaching a wider audience, but why you?
Well, thank you. I think what you would see from the reviews that I've had is I work in therapy and counseling, and what I did with these focus groups with great humility actually blows people's minds. My track record in the industry, which many people have a successful track record, mine is extraordinary, as was yours. And what, though, from a perspective of photogenics, being on camera, these focus groups that I've worked with, they've sourced a lot of talent and people, and they've never seen reviews as high as mine were with these groups. So that's the winding part.
Okay, I understand. All right, sure. Yeah, I mean, I can have another conversation.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Dr. Phil. And shall I set that up with your team?
Yeah, sure. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that. Out of roll, we'll go first to Dr. Morgan, then we'll come back to Mark. Dr. Morgan, how'd I do as you having a conversation with Dr. Phil?
I think you did a pretty good job. I mean, you definitely weren't me, but that's okay. But there were some things that I noticed that I really liked. The first one being the first ask just being another conversation, because then you save a lot. You have a lot left for the next conversation, a lot more to sell. I like that you presented like some evidence, some data to help kind of sell what you were asking for in terms of like, hey, we did these small groups. We, you know, here's what it said. This is what we need. And then I like the fact that you added that like, me being a part of the show is adding value. You know, this isn't doing a favor for me, but this is something that is going to help not only the show, but reaching more people. So that was good. And then I liked how Mark asked why you again at the end, because I mean, obviously you're not me, so maybe, maybe you don't know why me. But I thought you did a pretty good job with what you do know, kind of selling why I would have been a good addition for Dr. Phil. So overall, I think you did a really good job.
Thank you for that, Dr. Morgan, and you did a wonderful job in the participant seat today. And how was your time on Dr. Jude's Heart of Influence today?
Thank you so much.
Yeah. And how was your time on Dr. Jude's show overall?
Oh, I loved it. This was, it's actually funny because the first question, the first game we played, I actually did not understand 100% going into it, which is why I think I was asking Oprah the questions rather than getting the yes. But now I'm much more clear on what the ask actually was and how I could have done that a little bit different. But everything is a learning experience. So it's been really fun and a really cool, different experience.
Thank you. You're a congruent, outstanding communicator. It's been a pleasure. Great job, Dr. Morgan. Thank you.
Thanks.
Let's go to Mark. Mark, how was your time today on Dr. Jude's Heart of Influence? Great job with the feedback. Thanks for jumping in as Dr. Phil. Please, Mark.
Yeah, great. Yeah, it's really interesting. I've been on one of these a long time ago, and before I really knew what any of this was. And so it's really nice to be back and interesting. And thank you so much for having me, Dr. Jude. And that's kind of a last minute thing. I admit I only know the name Dr. Phil. I don't know much about him. So that was a interesting, fun thing to do. I feel the being put on the spot that I'm sure you guys feel from earlier. So it's definitely tough. So thank you everybody for participating.
Yes, it happens to me like about 11 times a day, thanks to Bella Frida. But thank you, Mark, for sure. AJ Donaldson, awesome job in the feedbacker chair. Thank you, sir, for all that you bring forward in the world. And AJ, how was your time today on Dr. Jude's Heart of Influence?
I appreciate it. It was an amazing experience. I mean, Dr. Jude bringing these incredible people into one room at the same time was, it was an honor to be in the space with Tiffany, with Dr. Morgan. Never would I ever have expected to be in a room with Viola Davis, Oprah, and Dr. Phil at the same time. But that happened today, and that could only happen on the Unblinded Heart of Influence show hosted by Bella Rita and Sean Callaghy. So absolute honor. It is always a pleasure. And I'm looking forward to what ecosystem merging with these 3 or 4 incredible human beings looks like.
Awesome. Brother, thank you. Fantastic job. And Tiffany, thanks for jumping in. Cool role play that you went from Holidius with Bella on. And Tiffany, how was your time today on Dr. Jude's Heart of Influence?
I have to say that I really enjoyed myself. I was a little caught off guard with that, creative, coming up with a person on the spot. I'm usually a planner, okay? But I like what you did at the end. It kind of gave me a little inspiration on how to deal with meeting people in the everyday life and how smooth it was and the transition in the conversation to get to your yes. I really enjoyed the show, and I really enjoyed meeting so many different people, different professions coming together on one platform. And I hope to have further conversation with you guys to help me to be on the spot, because I'm not on the spot kind of person.
Well, thank you, Tiffany, for sure. And one of the things we talk about is, everything really does in the building of our mission happen after yes. And sometimes we have just 60 seconds to open the listening of a person in a situation, a moment. And what do we do at that time? Just from my heart, my background, I've spoken on Tony Robbins' stage 19 times. And my access point to that was I was in a competition with people, not to get onto that stage, but for a different purpose. And I had 3 minutes to present something that was an investment opportunity that I'd never heard of before. And I had a very short window to get ready for those 3 minutes. And that was life-changing for me. And so what I'm a stand for is that we can be prepared. Einstein said, make it as simple as possible, but not simpler. And we could be fully prepared to generate yes with integrity in any situation. And I do believe that I believe in self-defense, and I believe in Dr. Morgan's black belt, and I believe that the ability to cause yes is the black belt that makes our missions go forward in the world. So thank you for being here today and for doing a great job, Tiffany.
Thank you for having us.
Dr. Jude, thanks for being a cause in the matter of today, sir, for your heart, your impact, your integrity, And Dr. Jude, your final on your Heart of Influence today.
And just thank you overall to everyone. Mark, awesome having you. Thank you for jumping in. And without knowing it, you are a really good Dr. Phil. You were a little bit like standoffish, skeptical. Like you did a really good job in that role. Bella also awesome as usual. Thank you, Morgan. Thank you, Tiffany. Asked you women to come on for really good, purposeful reasons, because of the personalities that you are, and the underlying mentality and strength and personality and ideas of like how you are, how you work. And so I think I thought that you would be great dynamic. I had a couple others that had to bail or couldn't make it last minute, but they're lost. And then Sean, AJ, thank you for being who you are. And I think there's always opportunity for just great mergers. And I learned a lot of cool stuff about everyone. And now I'm maybe a little bit intimidated because Morgan's a black belt.
That is outstanding. Dr. Jude, thank you. Wonderful job. And for everybody here today, we have a few beautiful gifts. The first is our group influence book, which is how do you do all the things? We've had the privilege of training people at the highest level in the world and creating very disruptive dynamics in the space of philanthropy, personal development stages, giant corporations, federal courtrooms, all the things. And the causing of yes in group dynamics is about as important as it gets. So that's what that book's all about. That's our gift to you, number one. Number two, to come back and to meet people next Wednesday morning, a week from today, that have been on the show and others. There's 105 folks that were on this morning. And if you'd like to meet extraordinary entrepreneurs and impact players like some Dr. Jude and AJ and Mark and yourselves, then you want to be there next Wednesday morning. We're going to work on a couple different things in influence and then drop in a group so you get to meet some of those extraordinary people. So there's a training element to it and there's a connecting element to it for sure. And finally, we offer a business acceleration session, and our stand in the world is if this is not more valuable than any other 1 hour conversation you've had in your business, then tell Dr. Jude it was an absolute waste of your time, and we will find a beautiful way to make that up for you. But there's no possibility that's going to happen because we've done, at this point, more than 5,000 of these sessions, and they are not only heart-opening, but mind-blowing for how we bring our work forward in the world. So those are 3 gifts for you. Bella Verita, wonderful job today. Technical difficulties, massive back pain. I'm so sorry, Belle. And what is your final?
Yes, my final is, first of all, Dr. Jude, it is not easy to put together a Heart of Influence, especially your first one, and your level of commitment to serving individuals and putting people together is absolutely extraordinary. So congratulations on that. Thank you all so much for being here. And definitely click that link and download that book, because before I downloaded that book, I didn't really understand what the formula was and the impact it could have. And by downloading that, understanding it, and then having that conversation with one of our teammates, because if you could take one thing away that would accelerate your money, time, or magic, why would you not do that? So definitely take advantage of that. And Sean, back to you.
Yeah. Thank you again, Dr. Jude. Bella, beautiful job. Thank you. AJ, Mark, Tiffany, Dr. Morgan. I end every show by saying this: I may be physically blind, which I am, but I'm absolutely certain as to the possibilities for acceleration that are right in front of us, right in front of all of us. At some level, as to those possibilities, Bella, Dr. Jude, everyone, at some level, we're all blind.
And just learning to see. Bye-bye, everyone.
Great job, everybody. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye.